If you are a parent right now of a teenager specifically, stop what you are doing because we've been talking about this all week. The school has started for everyone. Delia Noel from AMCAL is here. You provide family and school services. It's a social service center.
That's correct.
And we're talking specifically about bullying. A lot of the kids may be going back to school quite stressed these days. Delia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's a difficult time, especially being a teenager. You go back to school. What should parents be looking for first and foremost as signs that something is off with their child?
Well, you know your child better than anybody else. So so first of all, going back to school in general is a difficult time. So there's things that they're worried about that has nothing to do with bullying, right? However, if you see your child becoming more sullen, or if they get more irritable after they've come home from school or after they've been on Facebook or whatever social media, start asking questions.
Yeah, because we were talking about this during the break. Bullying has changed now, especially if you're a teenager. You can't leave it at school. You come home, it's following you on your social media. Yeah. How do parents prepare themselves for dealing with it? Because I asked you, is it okay to just go to school and wring the bully's neck? And you said, no, don't do that. Don't. So how does a parent prepare themselves for this?
As a parent, I think it's important to open dialogue with your child about bullying. Talk to your child about what is bullying, what does it look like to them, so that they can be aware when they're out in the school ground or when they're in school of what it is they're looking for in terms of the behaviors. So for them, what they consider bullying. Because there's a fine line between teasing and bullying, yeah. Right? So as a parent, have that conversation with your kids, and for yourself, inform yourself on what the school policy is on bullying, how the school plans to take action, not after it happens, but prior to it happening.
Right, because I feel like a lot of kids will be like, I can't tell my parents because my parents will go to the teacher and then I'll be the rat in the school. But actually, the parents have a big role to play. They should not be afraid to get involved with the administration.
Absolutely not. You are the advocate for your child. If you can't be the voice for them, who will be?
Yeah. This is an interesting one. Is it ever okay to say, okay, you don't have to go to school today. There are bullies are there, you can stay home. I feel like that can only go so far. You can't do that the whole year, right?
You can't do that the whole year. And sometimes that leads them to believe that you don't believe they can manage to deal with it, right? So keeping them at home once, twice might not be the end of the world, but it can have serious consequences, because it's not just dealing with the bullying, but it's other issues that they might have to deal with in life. Do they run away from it, or do they face it and deal with it? So letting them stay home once in a while, it's not the end of the world, but in order to build their capacity to deal with adversity, you got to bite the bullet and send them back.
But that is a tough call. So to me, this is a two-pronged issue. That you got to get the parents to make the difficult decisions, and you also have to build up your child to say, well, this may happen again, but you're going to school.
But you're going to school. And it doesn't start when they go into high school. It starts when they're in elementary school, right? Okay. So you're building that capacity there, because if they can draw on other situations where they had to deal with difficulty, then they can remind themselves, I am able to do this, and my mom and dad believe that I'm able to deal with this. And that sometimes is all they need.
So Delia, the key messaging here, look for changes in mood, moodiness, sullenness. Have the conversation with them. Don't be afraid to look onto their Facebook.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. That's your job.
That's your job.
I'm giving you permission as a parent.
You go ahead and snoop. Within reason, snoop.
Yeah.
And they can't stay home.
They can't.
They got to get out there and face it.
They got to get an education.
You got to get an education. And you know what? Bullies, if you're out there, you're insecure yourself. So listen, everyone, it does get better. We all grow up. We all grow out of this. Thank you so much, Delia Noel from AMCAL. Thank you for joining us this morning.